welcome to this video for the Royal Society of Biology online conference. My name's Jo Harris. I work for the Field Studies Council and I'm an ecologist who now spends their time teaching ecology and environmental science and a little bit of geography as well. But today I'm talking to somebody who works directly in science, and this is one of a series of interviews with people who followed a career into science, and we're aiming here to just share with you some of their experiences and maybe inspire you a bit to go into a science career of your own. So I'm not going to hesitate any longer. I'll just introduce my guest. This is Louise.
Hi, Jo. Thanks for the introduction. So yeah, my name's Louise. I am also an ecologist. I'm a marine ecologist. And once I finished my undergrad in Scotland, I moved to the United States to do my PhD. I live in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm currently doing a postdoc at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute.
Wow, cool. Okay, so you're going to have to tell us more about that. So if you kind of describe your job or your role at the moment for us, Louise.
Sure, yeah. So maybe I'll start by talking a little bit about what I did in my PhD, because that really leads to what I'm doing just now. So for my PhD, I studied how ocean acidification and warming affect Atlantic sea scallops. So ocean acidification is something that happens when carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater, and it makes it a lot harder for different animals to build their shells. And Atlantic sea scallops have these big calcium carbonate shells. So I was really interested in understanding how this future climate change process is going to affect them. So I did various experiments in my PhD and found that they're not going to do very well under ocean acidification. So what I'm doing just now at Woods Hole is I'm looking at their fishery regions. So scallops are fished all up and down the northeast coast of the United States, from North Carolina, which is kind of halfway up the United States, all the way up to Canada. And so I'm mapping benthic carbonate chemistry, so the pH of seawater in the benthos where they live, to understand which regions are going to acidify first and fastest compared to other regions. I'm then going to take that data and use it to inform a fisheries model and to help the fishery kind of plan ahead for the future.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So really important for the future with all the changes that we're going through and going to go through. That's really on the nose science. I love it. Awesome. So how did you get into that? What's the route in that you took to get into this place?
Yeah, I guess so. What really got me hooked for marine science is actually when I was a teenager. I took a job in an aquarium. And before I knew that, I really liked biology at school. And in the aquarium, I got to learn a lot about different marine animals. I also got to try scuba diving for the first time. And that was what really got me hooked and got me interested in pursuing a career in marine science. And when I was an undergrad, something that everybody kind of told me was that to, get a job after undergrad, you have to do an internship. But you're not really given much information about how to go about that, how to get paid doing that, or really where to start. So I talked to some of the lecturers in my classes, and they said to just email people in the department whose research sounded interesting to me. So I emailed a bunch of different professors, and one professor, Dr. Nicola Allison, got back in touch with me and said that they were looking for someone to help them take care of their corals. So Nikki is also she's more of a marine chemist, and she looks at how corals will fare under ocean acidification. So that was really what got me interested in ocean acidification research. And I think that, that research experience was really important for me because it kind of taught me how to ask my own research questions and taught me how the world of research really works. And Nikki and other people in the department were really helpful at, helping me figure out how to apply for a PhD and so on. Yeah,
that's awesome. And also it's really good, kind of just shows it, you've kind of got to put yourself forward, and by making those questions, by asking people, you found somebody who could then help you and sort of get you in the right direction. So it is really about kind of having that confidence, isn't it, to say, what are you guys doing and can I get involved, and finding your own area of interest.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the phrase, look after my corals. That's great. I need
Yeah.
someone to look after the corals.
Yeah.
That's really
Love and
awesome.
care, yeah.
Yeah. I've now got a picture of you like kind of going around and talking to them and giving them, stroking them.
Yeah.
So for you, what is a typical day like? What are you doing on a daily basis?
Yeah, I guess the nice thing about my career track is that there isn't really a typical day. That's, you know, the current pandemic has changed that a bit. So right now I'm doing a lot of data analysis and modeling work because that's stuff that I can do from home.
Mm-hmm.
But if the pandemic wasn't happening, I would also be in the lab doing bench work. So I do a lot of water chemistry analysis from my different sample sites. I also do a lot of field work. So next summer, I'm going to be going out on fishing boats for a total, I'm going to go out for two-week cruises, so a total of a month at sea, to collect water and scallops at different sites. So yeah, I spend a lot of my time on boats and really, you know, out in the marine ecosystem as well. Yeah.
Really, really varied stuff. And that kind of keeps it interesting, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm loving the field work. I'm big into field work, so but not for a month at a time, I have to say. more a week sort of thing. So I'm really interested because it all sounds like really, really exciting stuff. So can you just give us an idea of maybe either your biggest achievement or something that you've done that's been really amazing and had like your kind of best experience?
Yeah, I guess the most exciting thing I've done so far was the field trip that I did as part of my PhD. So that's what is leading to the field trip that I'm doing next summer. So I'm really excited to expand on that work. But in my PhD, I went out for a week on a commercial scallop boats and lived at sea, and really collected a ton of data that is going to be, you know, I'm writing it up just now to be published in a paper. And so having that experience of like, you know, planning research crews, going out and doing it, analyzing all of your samples, and then getting really interesting results. That was, you know, really kind of thrilling for me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I'm very jealous. It sounds awesome. I wanted to just ask you as well. So I know we kind of have already mentioned the field work that you do and some of the kind of data collection that you do. But is there anything you can tell kind of anyone watching about what kind of practical aspects of your work that you do? So any techniques or kind of apparatus or field work that you use whilst you're out there?
Yeah, so for my fieldwork, I use a Niskin bottle, which it's basically an open tube that you drop to the sea floor, and then you close it and it collects a seawater sample. So in the field, I collect water and I take measurements of its temperature, its salinity, I record its depth. And then back at the lab, I use different instruments to measure the chemistry of that water. So I use things like pH probes. I also use like a coulometer, which is an instrument that allows me to analyze the amount of dissolved inorganic carbon in the water. And I also do titrations to measure alkalinity. So I do a lot of chemistry. The biology measurements that I do are things like taking very basic measurements of scallop biology, like meat weights and tissue, like other tissue weights. Also measuring shell height. I had a lot of fun using this one instrument to measure shell strength called an instron, which is it's like a crushing machine that you put the shell in and it slowly increases the force until it breaks and so on. I also did tank experiments for my PhD. So a lot of just like keeping animals alive and happy. And I measured their, you know, weights and their respiration rate and things like that. Yeah.
So I guess it's kind of in that, so the tank experiments are like seeing the boundaries of those organisms and what they can cope in, their sort of, you know, where they're happiest and finding a niche sort of thing. Oh wow, that's really good. So so lots of different types of investigations, lots of different types of methods. Sounds very varied.
Definitely.
Very interesting. So where can people find out more if they wanted to know about maybe the institute, if they wanted to know about the stuff that you're doing? Where could people find out more information?
So if you wanted to find out more about what Woods Hole does, Woods Hole is this really giant oceanography center. Their website is www.whoi.edu. So you can find out more about, they do really varied research. They also do a lot of like deep sea stuff with submarines. So it's cool to just have a browse on their website. If you want to find out more about my work, I have a website. It's Louise, Louise, Cameron, PhD, .wordpress.com. So all of my research is on there. There's also really good resources on, for example, NOAA, which is the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration here in the United States. They have a lot of great information about what ocean acidification is and how it works on their website as well.
Yeah, and that's definitely, people can go and have a look at NOAA, NOAA, isn't it? So
yeah.
That's something that people may well be interested in, and it's a really, it's
Yeah.
quite a hot topic at the moment. It's in the news, and it's going to become even more in the news, and kind of something that we should all be aware of. So good scientists need to be kind of aware of those big hot topics and know what's going on.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Louise. That's been absolutely fascinating to talk to you, and I wish you all the best in your endeavours and your work that you're doing, and I hope that you get really good data on your field trip. And yeah,
so
I'm jealous. It sounds really good. So thank you so much, and it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Great. Yeah, it's been really great chatting with you too.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you later.